Because
that's all you, sir. You're the star of this show. I'm just here to learn.
good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are listening to this. This is Rick Janson in Denver, Colorado, along with Luke Smith down in Georgia.
What's going on, everybody?
And what you're seeing here today is a private coaching session, soon to be small group. But in the meantime, we're just kind of giving you a little taste. So for real estate agents looking to scale up your game, go back and watch last week's episode where we do a background on me and on Luke and why you should listen. But with a 5-second summary, Luke is coming up on his 1-year anniversary, already has 3 hires, is building out a buyer's agent team next. And we're diving into systems and technology, marketing, scripts, you name it. If you want to be one of the 20% that actually makes it through year 2, tune in, listen up, and let's get going. Luke, what do you have for me today?
Let's do it. 3 main topics that I kind of want to go over. First of all, I just want to say thank you for last week's coaching call. It's been momentum like crazy, and the only way to keep momentum is to keep going. And I did the math. As of last night, with offers coming in, I'm gonna have 4 closings this month.
That's awesome.
That's
I'd
crazy.
love to hear that.
It took me 3.5 months to get 4 closings. The last 3.5 months total. So having 4 this month is insane.
That is great. How many first-year agents in there? You're in your 12th month, correct?
Yeah, I wrote down $36,847 worth of commissions. That's more than I made in the Army in a year. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, your combat pay was $3,000 a month, and your stay-at-home pay was $2,000 a month, right? So you're going to make this month or this coming month, you're going to make an entire annual salary. How does that feel?
I don't even know how to explain it. I don't feel like it's real. You know what I mean? I'm just like trying to put my head down and work really, really hard, and it's just kind of going past me. Because I feel like in the past, when it comes to commissions, you get really excited and then something falls through. But the crazy thing is, now that I know what to do, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, but when, and I know the when's already happening now. So it's kind of weird, but I'm really excited about it. And
That's
I'm
cool.
just looking forward to the future, because I know if I can do this now, I know I can double, triple, quadruple this in the next couple of years.
So I'm going to give you one piece of advice right out of the gate here. And I know this is more for other people who are going to listen to this later than for you, because you're already smart enough to pick up on this. But in any event, the reason people have a commission roller coaster in real estate is because they're going to have a good month, right? You're going to have 4 closings, 36 grand and change in commissions. And so they start servicing that business so much that they forget to actually generate new business.
Mm-hmm.
And so they let they're servicing. I've got to provide the best service to my clients, and they're going to give me all sorts of referrals, all of which is true. But if you take your foot off the gas of lead generation, then 90 days from now, you're going to feel this big lull.
Yeah.
And you can say, what happened? Why am I at 0 in July? This is May right now. Why am I at 0 in July and August when I just had 4 closings? I don't get it. And that's why you see so many people go 2, 0, 4, 0, 1, 3, 5, 2, because they stop generating. But here's the deal. You know the formula. If you take care of your morning, your business takes care of itself, right? So you've got a dedicated system right now, and we went over your time blocking, where your morning is spent doing lead generation and your afternoon is spent servicing your clients. So tell me a little bit about what you need help with today.
Today, I kind of want to figure out where my wife fits in with all this, because she has a real estate license. She has to be at the base for another, I think it's like 10 months, or she has to pay back her student loan debt. And I'm trying to figure out how can we best leverage her in the business, so we can, add another pillar there. And then the other thing is, I just feel like I'm going to freak. I just got to tell a story real quick. YLOPO. Okay. If you're not using YLOPO, I don't know why you're not. Last 5 letters of the monopoly spelled backwards. I got a lead come in from my YouTube channel that wanted to rent in Georgia. Okay. And I thought about it. It's like, I'm not going to make a commission. And then all of a sudden start game planning this. I have an investor in the city that he wants to live in. The investor said, hey, I'll pay you 1 month's commission for the rental. So that turned out to be like $1,800. He moves, at the end of this month. And then that turned into, he's moving into the rental, and then he immediately wants to find a new home that's a new construction for him and his wife. They're just going to use that rental short term. They said they feel bad for the guy, but that's just their plan. They need to do it. They'll pay, any money out of pocket that they have to for backing out early. I was like, okay. So I guess, I feel bad for the investor, but that's a deal right there. And then YLOPO, somebody was on my website. So the AI texted them and said, hey, is there anything that we can do to help you? It's like, hey, I'm actually Steven's dad. We're going to move with them. Can you help us buy a house? I'm like, this system just rolls on itself. I didn't even do anything.
That's
It's
fantastic.
crazy. And I read through the AI text messages, and like, of course, I'm texting, I'm having phone calls, but that AI is my assistant having private conversations with them as well, stirring up the pre-approval process. Are you currently looking? They're like, well, Luke is helping me find a rental, but you know what? I think we're going to be able to buy. And that was something they didn't even tell me on the phone. So I'm so excited for tomorrow. Pack my bag tonight and then drive in the morning to that summit. So that's going to be crazy.
So tell everybody what tomorrow is.
YLOPO Summit. Of course, when you join YLOPO, they onboard you and they brief you on some stuff. But the thing is, YLOPO is the #1 real estate and marketing company in the world. It's not your CRM. It partners with your CRM to help service your leads with AI technology, marketing, dynamic ads for Facebook, Instagram, Google, all that kind of stuff to be able to leverage and market your listings that you have while being able to provide lead generation and follow up with your existing clients. And it's a deep dive for 2 days. And they have a 2-hour free coaching session one-on-one if I get there early. So
That's awesome.
I'm gonna show up at 10.
Hey,
So
folks, there's no affiliate sales for YLOPO. I asked, they won't do it. So this is
really, I don't even care.
a free plug for good technology.
Just don't use it in my area yet because I got to master it before anybody else uses.
So I have some thoughts about how the talented and lovely and kind Leah can join your business and add to it. But before I give my thoughts, what did you guys come up with on your own? Because I know you're brilliant.
That's the struggle when it comes to it. The whole point that Leah wanted to get out of, her job is her words, not mine. It was a smart thing to do. She's homeschooled. She's living at home. She did the really smart thing of going to college, having the government pay for it, no student loan debt. But she went to college in financial economics because she thought it would get a good paying job. We didn't know each other at the time. And she works on Robins Air Force Base, which is a military installation that works, reservist pay. And she just stares at a computer screen all day, and it's reactive work. She just sits there and fiddles her thumbs until like a form comes in. She'll fill out the form, and then she just sits back and stares at the screen again. And it's not consistent, and she hates staring at a computer screen. So I know deep down that she's willing to do whatever it takes for this business to get going. But at the same time, I don't want her full-time job to just be behind a computer screen typing in numbers. She is amazing with people face to face. She's super nervous deep down because, confidence comes from knowing. So the more that she does it, I know that the greater she's going to get. But I don't know if she would be like a really great partner to help build referral partners, agent attraction, and like that side of the business, or where we should plug her in at.
So one of the things I like to do, I don't like to coach anybody to be me. I want to coach you guys to be bigger, better versions of you, and apply what you already like to do and what you already feel comfortable doing, amplify that into real estate, right? So one of the things I've done recently, little segue, took 100 books that everybody knows that they want to read, right? The Tipping Point, Think and Grow Rich, all these other, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Everybody knows they want to read them. And so I took them and made 3-minute summaries with action steps to apply them to real estate, right? So it's that applied knowledge. And if anybody wants to join in, get those free book summaries, there's a link in the description here where you can join that email list and get the action steps from those books applied in 3-minute summaries that you can take out and work right now. So if we're going to apply you guys to real estate, like those book summaries are applied to real estate, what you said, Leah's strength, she's personable, she knows numbers, she's going to grow with her confidence is going to grow from knowing. What else does she like to do in terms of who is she that we can make her a bigger, better her and apply it to real estate?
That's a really good question. I think deep down, she just has a really warm heart. And I know me coming from like a husband standpoint, that's true. But she just really cares about people. She does really well when she's with people.
Does she have a heart for like military spouses or for the veterans themselves? Or does she have like a strong tie to them? Or when she leaves the military, is she like, I'm done?
No, she definitely has a strong tie. I feel like, and I don't feel this way, this is how she feels, is that she's serving her country. right now because she works for the Air Force. And I feel like she's going to miss that a lot, that she feels like she has a sense of purpose of, she's helping the common good when it comes to like our nation. So I think she's going to struggle with that. I know that she's even talked about joining the Air Force, which I don't think is a good idea with where she's at currently. I don't think she's going to enjoy it as much as she does. Now, if she was 18 years old, totally understand. She turns 25 this month. And starting the officer route, going through 2 years, being 27, being a butter bar right off the bat. And if you really want career growth, we're going to be bouncing all over the United States. And I know she's a homebody, so that's the reason.
So how often do people move out of Robin's base? Every 2 years? Do people rotate?
PCS is usually somewhere between 3 to 4 years with a contract. However, Robin's Air Force Base is super heavy on the civilian side, so it's always rotating like crazy.
What does rotating mean to you?
A lot of transactions.
There you go. So I have two thoughts there. One is sort of embedding yourself as a local expert, right? I'm sure there are other veterans that are realtors in the area, but they're not going to capitalize on it like you are, right? You're making a presence. You're going to get out there on your YouTube channel, kind of blowing the dog whistle, right? Look, hey, here I am, former Special Forces. Here's my wife, reservist, and we are here to help you. Why? Because we know you, we like you, we understand you, we understand VA loans, we understand your situation, we understand the emotional dynamics, right? Because we're not just real estate transaction people. Anybody can do that. We understand the emotional component of rotating in and out, how hard that is on your family, and lean into the troubles and the struggles that they have that other people wouldn't know. Right.
And that's what we did this week, actually, too. I made a video, how to PCS to Warner Robins Air Force Base. And it's an overall video, anybody in the United States. And I went like super deep dive, detail for detail, using military lingo right off the bat. So people actually can like, oh, this guy actually knows what he's talking about.
Nice.
So that video, anybody that wants to PCS, even in the description, has all the phone numbers to the base needed, step-by-step guide on I'm 3 months out from moving here, all the way to the closing table. Super detailed. And then I want a very deep dive on what the VA loan is and how they can leverage it to the highest. Nice. So we're building that platform on YouTube. So when all these other, people in the area, all they do is send a link to somebody's name on social media or something, we're able to send a detailed video that provides a lot of value.
Yeah. And just keep building on that series too, right? Go into detail. Because I don't even know what PCS means, right?
Permanent change of station.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when go into greater detail, go into like step 1, step 2, step 3. Don't, you might have that long form video, right?
But we're doing like a 21-part short series of 2-minute long videos, and it's going to be PCS military or something like that. And it's going to be like 2 minute, 2 minute, 2 minute, 2 minute, and it's going to show like the whole entire thing. Right.
And so that's brilliant. That's fantastic. I'm glad you're already on top of that. So make sure she's in those videos too, so people see like, hey, it's a combo, right? They're going to be working with you. They're going to be working with her. She doesn't have to be in every single video, right? But there might be some element that she could say, hey, for military spouses. Now, she's not a military spouse per se because she's also in the military, right? But she can speak to that. And not everybody that's serving in the military has a female spouse. Some have a male spouse. Some have, whatever, right? I'm going to be generic here. But nonetheless, it's going to call out to some people who are like, hey, would you say that the military down in your area is male dominated or 50-50?
That's the surprising thing with the Air Force. There are a lot of women in the Air Force.
Cool. Okay.
Probably about 50-50.
That's awesome. That's awesome, right? So you can both speak to that, right? So you can both speak to, hey, if you're a male spouse of someone in the military, if you're a female spouse of someone in the military, right? Hit it from both angles, because not everybody's going to be aware of that dynamic in the area, right? They're gonna generically say, oh, military spouse is a woman. Here's the guy going off into special forces, kicking down doors like Luke, thinking the wife's left behind. But hey, guess what? Maybe the wife's flying the plane, right? She's piloting the jet, and maybe the military spouse is the husband who is left back, right?
Yeah.
So speak to it from both angles, and that way flex your knowledge and flex your insider intel, right? But the other thing you can do, and this is, in addition to kind of mining that for the churn and the burn, is teach those people, and they're going to come up with a couple of things here, but it's just spitballing. You have to show them why. Let me backtrack. You watch like somebody in the NBA or the NFL or something fly into Denver, they get a new contract, and they rent at 20,000 a month, 15,000 a month. Some of the lower scale ones are like, hey, I'll just $5,000 a month because I'm actually pocketing my money and saving because I don't know if I'm gonna have my knees next year, right? They don't buy because they think, oh my gosh, I've got to buy now, and then at the end I'm gonna have to sell. What if I lose money? What I've got to pay the 6% commission? I should just rent. And they throw away, at the big leagues, they throw away 100,000 plus a year, sometimes 200,000, because they're afraid of a 6% commission on the sales side, right? So when you come in at the military level and the purchase price is going to be lower, you said your average purchase price is about 250, 270 down in your area. But you have to show people why, like, buying now, even if they're going to sell in 2 years, makes more sense than renting. Even if it's 1 year, right? And then you can come up with some crazy guarantee. So say, hey, look, if your home doesn't appreciate by 6%, I'll waive my commission. Like on the list side, right? Let's help you buy a home. And when you go to sell it in 2 or 3 years, if your home is appreciated less than 6%, I'll cut my commission until we make you profitable.
There we go.
Right? Crazy guarantee. Now, one of the guarantees I do for buyers to make them more comfortable here in Denver is I say, look, if you buy a house and you're feeling, especially in that crazy seller's market where people were just like leaping on a house that was imperfect, didn't fit their needs, they just desperate for housing. I said, if you buy this house and if you don't like it, and you tell me within a year, I will list your house for free. Now we're going to have to pay a buyer's commission, but I'm sure a house is going to appreciate 3% in a year, but I'll list it for free. And nobody ever took me up on that guarantee because everybody always liked their house. But nonetheless, you're still going to make the buyer's commission on the front end. And then if you tuck away your marketing cost for that home, whether it's $1,000 or $10,000, depending upon the price point, you tuck that away and have a little reserve for your guarantee fund. You can hire a photographer, hire the 3D, hire the flyers, all that stuff, and still come out ahead because you got you got someone over the hump to buy now, right? So in your situation, you're going to say not only Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Captain Corporal, whatever you are, if you buy a house and if you don't like it, I'll list it again for free within a year. On my side, we're still going to owe the buyer's commission. But if you buy now, and when you get PCS'd somewhere else, if you get transferred within 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, if you haven't made at least 3%, right? Or if you haven't made 6%, then I will waive my listing commission when you go to sell that with me. Why? Now they're going to be tied to you for 3 to 4 to 5 years as their listing agent because they're already you're already future pacing them that they're going to be selling with you.
Yeah.
And it's a guarantee you can make good on because the home's going to appreciate at least 3% before they move. So you can bake that in. You can bake that guarantee into your videos. You can bake that guarantee into your marketing materials. You can bake that guarantee anywhere. Because if I were moving down to your area, I'd wonder, holy crap, if I'm going to buy at 250, and then I got to pay 6% on the tail end. I don't know if home prices appreciate in this area. There's that whole fear of financial loss. But in the meantime, guess what? They've also, by paying their mortgage, they've built equity into their house as opposed to paying rent where they're paying somebody else's mortgage because they're always paying someone's mortgage, right? Just their own or the landlord's. So they're building equity into their house by paying a mortgage. They might even, with your brilliant help, figure out a way to rent it and buy in the new city. So now you get a referral out to when they move to New Jersey or Hawaii or wherever they get transferred to, right? Now you get a referral because now they've held this as a rental property and they're moving somewhere else, but now you're still tied to them because now you're the brilliant person that helped them build equity on this. Maybe you get them into a 15-year note and say, look, if you can afford a 15-year note, do it because then when you go to rent, this house will be paid for free and clear in 15 years. And if your home appreciates for 3 to 6% over the next 15 years, do the math, blah, 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 would you like to have $330,000 free and clear in 15 years? Or would you like to pay someone's rent? Yeah,
it's too easy.
Right. So you don't want to, if you can, but you also have to figure out, does the rental cover the mortgage on a 15-year note, right? Or will it in 2 or 3 years based off of current appreciation? But do the math for people and run it down and napkin it out on a video and show people. so that when you don't have to have this conversation every single time. You can send them a link and say, hey, look, I was thinking about you, and this training I did on building home equity and building financial future really came to mind. Guess who can do that? Someone with a degree in financial economics.
Yep, exactly. Leah.
It just came to me, right? So that I thought it was leading somewhere, and bam, it came back to Leah. So the other thing that I was thinking about, God, I love how that came together.
Yes.
Chills. So the other thing I was thinking about is something we talked about probably 9-10 months ago when you first came over to EXP, and we were talking about how, when a military spouse comes in, it's really hard to find like a good permanent job because they're going to be gone in a year or two,
It
right?
is.
And so now they're
I
like,
forgot
okay,
about that. That's a phenomenal idea.
so I'm stuck here. I can get a part-time job, but it's not very fulfilling. With COVID, there's a lot more work from home. So maybe I'll start an accounting practice. Maybe I'll start a TC practice, whatever it is, right? But if Leah and you can network into the base in a way and give presentations, maybe once a month, right? Or maybe every other month, but on career alternatives for military spouses. You can partner up with some people in the community who could thank you and refer you business, right? Now you're building a network of other business owners that are looking to hire military spouses. But you can come up with something unique and present it as male spouse, female spouse, that if you got your real estate license here in Georgia, right? However many hours it takes.
75.
So spend 75 hours full time in 2 or 3 weeks, you can have your real estate license. And I will teach you the ropes while you're here in Georgia. Now, when you get transferred to, give me a city.
You can even go to, let's say, Fort Lauderdale in Florida.
Okay. So they get transferred to Fort Lauderdale. To do real estate in Fort Lauderdale, they'd have to get a new license. But because they'd be with EXP, they can still have their license in Georgia
And still help people that they know in Georgia. Yeah.
Refer business to people in Florida, right? Because now they're going to be networking around in Florida. They can be building up a referral business in Florida for a local agent, but they can also attract a Florida agent to EXP and start making overrides and commissions from the revenue share that EXP offers.
Exactly.
And then when they move from Florida to where would somebody else they would be transferred to? Name a city.
Up in New York.
So they go to New York. They're not going to want to get licensed in New York. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but they still have their license hung in Georgia. They now have attracted a few agents in Fort Lauderdale because they were passing out referrals like candy. They were making 25 to 35% on the referrals based off the strength of the referral, which you taught them to do while they were training with you in Georgia. They attracted some agents to Fort Lauderdale who became full-time agents who are now anchoring that business. And now when they move to New York, they have agents in Georgia, they have agents in Florida, and now they go to New York and they're going to build another business in New York. So every time they leave impact. They leave, they're also making money off of every city they've ever been to, but now it's residual income. And maybe now they've also bought a house in Georgia. Maybe they also, when they moved to Fort Lauderdale, bought a house in Fort Lauderdale. Now they move to New York and buy a house there on 15-year notes where their rent's covering it. All of a sudden, in 5 cities later, they have 5 homes. They have 5 different legs to their revenue share group, and they're earning residual income. Do you think that military spouse has a little bit more of a wake up and I'm useful?
I'm bringing home some money to the family. Yeah.
I'm bringing money to the family. I've improved the lives of the other spouses and other agents because they don't have to just attract other military spouses. They can go out into the community and wherever they are, right? They can be going to open houses and being realtors that are holding open houses in Fort Lauderdale, right? Because they're not licensed. Hey, I just want to come out to open houses because that's where all the active and really successful agents are, the proactive ones. Susie, I met you. You're awesome. I have an opportunity. I want to be able to give you referrals because I'm licensed in Georgia, but I'm not licensed down here in Florida. Would you be open to like deepening this relationship so I can pass you referrals when I move out of town? And even while I'm here in town, how can I help you grow your business, Susie? Yeah. Who walks into an open house saying, how can I grow your business? Come on, right? So if you are sitting in an open house in Fort Lauderdale and this dynamic agent trained by you out of Georgia flies down to Fort Lauderdale, is now out there prospecting, saying, how can I help you grow your business? Is that person now doing more for that agent than their employing broker?
Exactly.
So now who's their loyalty going to be, to the employing broker or to this new person who flew into town, super trained by Luke and Leah, who's now like on fire to help other people? Not only military spouses in Fort Lauderdale, but every other agent that he goes out and finds that's actually productive. Not getting licensed in Florida, but spreading the seed, right? Inviting them to conferences, inviting them to events, because big action happens at big events, right? So inviting them to events, and there are a lot of events in Florida. Go to New York, a lot of events in New York. They get transferred to California, a lot of events in California, right? So they're going to be moving around, bopping around, not only helping spouses, but also helping agents who have promise, who have talent, being a talent scout for you, right? And putting them on three-way calls with you and Leah so that they can now learn how revenue share works, how EXP works, why it's the best brokerage in the country, all the training, the healthcare, everything else that they can now bring to their family, right? Because when you leave the military, what are you going to do? I need health insurance. I need income, right? Maybe that spouse, like you, was hanging out in the military thinking, wow, I need to go out and deploy again because I can make $3,000 a month as opposed to $2,000. But what if the person's kind of tired of deploying? What if they have a bad shoulder, a bad knee, bad hip? What if they've had, traumatic brain stuff going on from concussive events? What if they're not feeling like they want to go deploy again because their body can't handle it anymore, but they don't necessarily want another military job?
Yeah.
Guess what? Now military spouse is saying, look, I'm bringing in $3,000 a month in income. I'm bringing in $5,000 a month in residual income. Honey, take a break, go do what you love. You've served your country. You've served it well. Maybe now you can serve yourself and the family and be here with the kids, be here, be a car mechanic, be an attorney, be a doctor, be whatever you want to be and live your life because you've already served, right? Now go forth. And because now the spouse can help that person transition out, right?
Exactly.
And however you phrase the mission can become a very beautiful thing that you guys can do, and launching people out of Georgia all over the country that can now do it there, can do it there, can do it there, can do it there. I'm talking to a Marine colonel about doing this. He loves the idea. He's a retired Marine colonel. He's also an attorney. He's also has his MBA. He has a CFA. He's like crazy talented. He has too many irons in the fire right now to do this, but he really wants to do it. But you can get out there and do it. You don't have to be a Marine colonel, right? You can do it as you can do this and just share the love and start it with 3 people showing up for a free seminar this month. And then next month, maybe 5 people show up. And then next month, once you start getting the word out in the community that you're having an event, a career event for military spouses, you start working, and Leah can help you find the partners for that, right? Because you're out there on appointments. Your highest and best use of time is on appointments, because that's where you're converting Steve's dad and everybody else into buyers and sellers. That's where you're getting the investor involved, right? Maybe that investor is like, hey, you just brought me a tenant. Maybe I need more rental properties.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go back to that investor and say, hey, how many more of these properties do you want?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep finding you tenants if you keep buying properties. Would you commit to buying with me if I keep finding you tenants? So go back to your investor, tap that source. But that's where your use of time is, right? Leah can help find the partners for the career fair. Leah can help figure out where on the base she needs to go to get permission to have the career fair.
Exactly.
And then how to get the marketing out there for the career fair, so that not only do you have the 3 people show, but now you have 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 people show. And you start doing that once a month. And now you're the people who are out there. Like, I'm the realtor in town that cares enough about you to care about your spouse. Who are they going to sell their house with?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That is such a brilliant idea. And the thing, it's truly giving back. And that's why I love EXP so much, is the fact that this isn't some multi-level marketing scheme or, hey, just join me. It's providing true value to those and giving them the ability to have a great life.
Yeah.
A better platform,
Absolutely. Getting them healthcare, getting them, the opportunity to earn residual income, getting the opportunity to earn stock, getting the opportunity to learn from the best in the country and all the coaches around the country and all the training that we have. And not to make this an EXP love fest, but you can do that because you're at EXP. You can't do that if you were at any other franchise or independent broker or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because then when they left Georgia, they'd have to open up and get an employing broker's license in Florida and get an employing, blah, 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 blah. So it's a unique opportunity you have because of the model you smartly aligned with, right?
Yeah.
Wow, there were like 18 action steps in just whatever we just talked about.
Yeah, I wrote it all down, so we're
And
good.
it's recorded, so that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Now, one other assignment we had from last week was doubling your actually dramatically expanding your prospecting area, right, to a kind of a 2-hour radius. One of the reasons we did that, folks, you didn't see the emails and the texts that were flying back and forth between us, but the average price point where Luke works is about 250 to 300. And so I said, Luke, within 2 hours of you, is there a higher price point? He said, oh yeah, go over here. It's like 700,000. Go over here. It's 600,000. I said, well, then you need to expand your prospecting circle to include those areas, right? I drive up to 2 hours for a listing appointment. And people will say, well, how can you be competent in that area, right? Trust me, you can be. And if you don't know how to be competent in an area 2 hours away from you, text me at 303-589-2320, 303-589-2320, and I'll teach you how to do that, because you absolutely have to be competent. It's our ethical duty. It's our realtor duty. It's everything else, right? But I'll drive up to Grand County. I'll drive up to Summit County, mountain communities, ski communities, 2 hours away to get a deal. I'll drive to Boulder to get a deal, which is an hour away. Why? Because 1 million plus, 2 million plus homes are for sale in those areas. And if I have somebody in Denver that wants to buy a $700,000 ski condo, there's a $21,000 commission check sitting on a table up there with my name on it. And if I won't drive an hour to go get it, how lazy am I?
Exactly.
So how did that exercise go for you? One of the obstacles you had was trying to figure out which MLSs to join, or if you had to join.
Yeah, so I actually got them all written down. I'm going to join them this week. I need to add an additional 3 MLSs. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a blank spot between Atlanta and here. But there's 3 MLSs, one south of me, one directly north about an hour, and then another one northeast about an hour and a half. So those 3 will encompass a total of 6 MLSs that I'll be a part of.
That's awesome. Now, and I'm a part of 3 MLSs, sometimes 4, depending upon whether I need Colorado Springs or not. And I view that as like, kind of they're each like $65 to $100 a month or whatever. That is my marketing budget, right? Because now I can tell people I serve those areas. And I can tell people I don't go up to Vail, but I can tell people I go up to Copper Mountain. I go up to Breckenridge, right? Which is far enough. So that becomes a marketing. What?
I was going to say, when you put those houses on the MLS to list, do you put them on every single MLS?
I can, yeah. Okay. So, and I can use that in my listing presentation too, right? So when I'm up in the mountains, I say, hey, I'm going to be advertising in the MLS down in Denver because I'm a part of both. Where do you think the money for the mountains comes from? They're like, oh, it comes from Denver. So we're going to put your house on the market down here as well as up there. And then if you're, in the million plus category, then I get you in the Rob Report and I get you in Wall Street Journal and all these other things. But you don't necessarily have to join all 6 of those right now. Like, join them strategically. I know sometimes cash flow is an issue. It's not going to be when you get that big $36,000 bump, but you're going to hold 50% of that back. I know.
Rick, I can't even go to Kroger and buy ketchup because Walmart's 3 cents cheaper. Like, my wife I love her to death. When I was a police officer, when I hurt my ankle and I wasn't working, I didn't have a job, we somehow didn't lose money. Like, I don't know what she does or how she does it, but I don't take care of finances. That's hers.
So another video she can do is budgeting. Household budgeting, because you need to be useful to the people between home sales, and you need to continue to provide value to them that is valuable to them, right? Yeah. Not everybody wants to read a market report once a month, but if she's out there like just giving household tips on here's how to manage $2,000 or $3,000 a month and make it stretch. Wow,
she knows how to do it. She firsthand trooper.
Yeah. So a brilliant video series, right? You guys also have a very strong marriage. And so, if you want to open that up a little bit, sprinkle in some tips once in a while on, hey, here's how our marriage is working on all cylinders, right? And here are the things, here are places where we had trouble. We're beautiful and we're smart and we're talented, but guess what? We're not perfect. And bam, we got in a fight yesterday. Your realtor's admitting he got in a fight with his wife yesterday. Guess what? It's because she bought powdered ketchup instead of liquid ketchup. And I hate powdered ketchup, right? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, sometimes budgeting can be hard on our marriage, or sometimes my need to be out in the community and to be on appointments interferes with our dinner plans and our time blocking, whatever it is, right? You can be real and honest with people because you have the strong marriage enough to do that. And people are going to gravitate to that because they also want a strong marriage. And so, it doesn't become the theme of your show, but sprinkled in a little bit here and there, sprinkle some budgeting here and there, sprinkle in, and you can make those different, parts of your channel.
I like that.
Where it humanizes you and you're providing content in your newsletter, right? So when your newsletter goes out through Wilo or through Follow Up Boss and all the other tools, hey, here's Leah's budget tip of the week.
Yep. Oh, there you go. Tip of the week.
And so here's my budgeting tip of the week. When you get this, put this aside for this, put that aside for this. And you know what? Make sure that you have $10 extra so that you can, buy the bottle of wine you want, the case of beer you want, the ice cream cone you want, whatever, right? You have to have the splurge fund and make it fun, right? But if she has a little tip of the week and it's just her talking for 2 minutes, getting comfortable in front of a camera, getting comfortable being seen by other people, getting comfortable sharing the knowledge she already has. Because at the beginning of this, you told me comfort comes from knowledge. She already has tons of knowledge. Share that knowledge so she gets comfortable, right?
Exactly. Well, we're going to implement all that.
If you can implement that in a week, God bless you.
Yes. We're going to get after it. I'm telling you what, you only get one life, Rick. You might as well go all out with it. Because I want to bring up earlier, like some people say, oh, Luke, you're so smart, or, oh, you're so. No, I'm not. In high school, when I figured out that I want to join the military, I did not try. I didn't even take the SAT, the ACT. I worked. So I'd get off of school at 1:37, I think it was. And then I'd work for 5 hours after school, changing oil. Then I'd work out and I'd go to the gym, and I didn't care about school. If I had homework, I did it at school the next day, before class started. I did not care. I did not try. That's one of my biggest regrets. And all of this business knowledge that I'm learning now and that I'm helping push my way forward comes from three things. Number one, when I read a book, my whole goal is I'm reading this book for one purpose. I need to find one thing that resonates with me that can move my life forward, and I need to take action on that one thing. So if I read this whole book and only get 1 point, it was worth it. Same thing with podcasts, and then same things with mentors like you. It's somebody's already where I want to be. If I just listen to what they tell me to do, I can get there so much faster. And if I spend my time reading books and listening to podcasts instead of putting crap music in my ears or watching movies that are just obviously going to make you depressed or turn you down, because to be honest, I don't know about you, but all these movies these days portray a perfect world where everything happy ends in the end. It's not reality. And I'm not saying that you can, you just need to shut off all entertainment, because I'd be lying if I don't go and watch movies from time to time and stuff like that. But instead of living your weeks and living for the weekend, use your weekends to build the life you want during the week. And it doesn't even feel like work anymore, and it's all up to you. I'm 25 and I'm just the accumulation of reading books, podcasts, listening to great guys like you, and taking action on it.
That's
so
awesome.
I don't know why that thought came in my head. But
for anybody that hasn't friended Luke on Facebook, go for it, because he's always dropping knowledge bombs in his Facebook feed. I love it. Inspirational message of the day. And then, like you said, applying points from a book. If you don't have time to read the full book, I'm sending out 3-minute summaries every day, anywhere from 5 to 15 summarized bullet points with 2 or 3 action steps each. You can, in 3 minutes or less, skim through the 15 points, find one you like, take those 2 action steps and apply them today. So for anybody who's wanting to kind of dabble in that, then join the 3-minute book summary. There's a link down below. Luke, we've hit 40 minutes. I'm going to cut it today because I think we've just, boom, there's 4 hours of the content in today.
Can I end it with one thing really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
This book doesn't leave my desk. It's a journal. And do you want to know when I bought this journal?
When
you invited me to join your readit4.me. And do you want to know what's in this journal? The readit4.me notes on the books that I read. I read the book, I go back to readitfor.me, and I write down the summary. So on my desk, I have a book so I can reference. Like the very first book right here is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Right here, right? Oh, why? Do the work, or how?
That's
So
awesome.
I'm just saying, Rick, you drop bombs. All people got to do is take action. So,
And folks, read it for me is like $1,000 a year, I think, for a membership. If you want a free
23-minute
membership,
book club. It's literally that.
yeah. If you want a free membership to that site as well, just let me know. I'll get you a free membership. I've got a couple that I can give out. So if anybody wants to, the read it for me is a 10-minute book summary of a lot of different things. It's not
I
applied to real
prefer your
estate.
3-minute. If I'm being honest, it's short, sweet, to the point. Take action.
Yeah. So if you want 10 minutes, not applied to real estate, 3 minutes applied to real estate. If you want just to figure out what coaching would be like for you, text me at 303-589-2320. Luke, God bless you and Leah. I look forward to all of the chats we're going to have throughout the week because it's not just a once and done. And then if anybody wants to join us on video here next week, let us know.
Yeah, please. Let's get after it. I'll see you next week. We'll produce some results.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
Awesome. See you.